Alright, what we got going on here is cross speaker wires on an output of an amplifier can cause some serious issues, as we're going to find out. The PNP sides right here for the PNP for both channels power rails back here. We're going to test these and you're going to see that they are short. Alright, the emitter on these, the collector, is actual the case. Pin 1 is the base, and pin 2 is the emitter. As you can see, that's dead short. Dead short from base to collector. Base to emitter just reading across that one, the resistors. Reads fine that way. Fine that way. Why is that? That one's dead short. That one's dead short. Should PNP, so I shouldn't have to do that. Dead short. Dead short from the base to the collector. Whoops. Emitter collector, base collector, all shorted. And that one's shorted too. Emitter to collector. Seems to read okay from there, but dead short, there's no resistance. NPN side, this should be the base collector. Oops. Let's look at the lead right there. That's normal. That's reading that one. That'll be reading the resistor between the base of the drivers and the outputs. That one reads normal there. From base to collector. Base to emitter, of course, for reading across the resistor. That one reads fine. Yeah, that's shorted. It shouldn't read that way at all. That reads fine. That reads across there. But the bottom PNP for the one channel is totally shorted. Totally shorted. Driver transistors. This is the PNP. Dead shorted from base to collector. And base to emitter. It actually works. We got a junction. Base to collector short. Resistor here is burnt, toasted. The resistor over here is toasted. These will be the resistors between the driver stages over here. This one's fine because it's the NPN. Goes base collector emitter. As you get on here correctly, as you can see, voltage drop's a little weird, but I like to see a little higher than that. Same with base to collector, base to emitter. I don't even want to read. What's the other one read? Base to collector. Normal diode. Forward voltage, and that one reads fine. Both drivers on this side, I'm pretty sure, are toast. This is negative. Do the PNP. Short. Base to collector short. And which sucks. This one's the PNP. Base emitter. That's kind of Reads fine, but it's got the black leg disease on the transistor. Yeah, so there's definitely some issues in there. I do believe this one is shorted as well. I think it's NPN. It's a weird voltage drop. Yeah. Well, it reads fine. I'll put this one down over here. These collector. That one reads definitely reads better. Oh, those ones are normal. And this transistor over here, TR603, it reads awfully low for a forward voltage drop. 3. It's like half of what it should be. Which wouldn't surprise me if it's made its way back. See a lot of dark areas in here through the circuit board, a lot of black, so it's seen a lot of heat. And these two resistors being blown open, and the transistor over here, so speaker shorts out, sends the negative rail completely, sends the negative rail all the way through both sets of transistors on the negative side, overcurrents all of them, right down to ground without blowing your fuses. It's always nice when the transistors and resistors protect the fuses from blowing. But still, the proper way to test this is to remove the components from the board, remove the resistors, look for all shorted components, and any open resistors, and any resistors that have drifted in value. This capacitor here looks like it's seen some heat, or probably some reverse voltage on it. More than likely what's happened, because it's shorted the output out. They do not like direct wire connection. Other than that, yeah, so it's depending on how far you really want to go with it. Everything else seems okay. That's a Zener, so it'll have a drop both ways. I think. I shouldn't drop back that way, but let's go through a capacitor. Yeah, it's fine. That was fine. So it's going to need some resistors, it needs drivers, probably a pre-drivers. More than likely a pre-driver there. Those two measured okay. This is probably for the protection circuit here, I imagine. And these are probably for overcurrent protection. Probably the drivers are supposed to be backing the current down off these, so they don't. I haven't looked at the schematic. I have one, but I don't know if it's right. Yeah, yeah, base to collector dead short. And this is the NPN, so let's do this again. Get in there, base to collector, 0.322 voltage drop. That's awfully low forward voltage drop. And base to emitter, it doesn't even really want to read, which it should. It should give me a voltage drop, but it doesn't, which is more than likely damaged as well. I know the front differential pairs, they actually measured out alright good, and, which is good because these the you know, those fancy 5-pin ones. Although it does look like it gives you the extra pin out for the holes in the circuit board to actually put in discrete pairs other than the 5-pin package. Very common. These are nice though because they're thermocoupled. That's what you're looking at. Parts, parts, parts. Alright, now we're back here with the Technics SA 5470. This is one I did the video earlier on. It had issues with the circuit's being a little shorted. As you can see, new voltage amplification stages, new transistors, all new capacitors. Circuit board cleaned up. Kind of looks horrible with the light the way it is, but the boards are very clean. Brand new power supply filter caps, all Nijicon, Panasonic, and Worth. 1% tolerance resistors to replace anything that was bad. All solder joints on the bottom of the board have been redone. I kind of rewired some of the looming here to keep it away from the heat. And I did add plates to these back of these driver's transistors just to dissipate some more heat, help them out a bit, because Technics like to run them really hot. Relay checked out really well. New, right here, that's a new, there. New bipolar cap for the speaker protection relay. It's a bipolar. There's some new bipolar audio caps in certain parts of the frequencies for the frequency path. Some of them I chose not to change just to keep it nostalgic, and they did test correct for ESR and capacitance, so I wasn't trying to manipulate the original sound of this receiver, but make it reliable. All brand new power supply caps up here, all Worth on there, and some Nichicons, some a little bit of originals. All once again tested fine. All resistors tested in tolerance according to the schematics. They have been replaced with the TTC004Bs and the TTA004B, PNP and NPN Toshibas. All very well known transistors, all purchased from DigiKey. Back here on the output transistor stages, transistors have been all new VBE multipliers. I put new NPNs in there, new capacitors on the back, all new heatsink compound, redid the heat sinks and the transistors, removed them, cleaned the mica pads up, new thermal compound, really good stuff. This thing runs like a champ, ice cold, perfectly warm, not hot, just the way it should be. Removed the bridge rectifier, cleaned it, redid the solder joints on the bottom of it, and of course, considering the whole bottom of the board, it got heatsink compound as well. It runs very cool. Switches are all nice and clean. And every capacitor I took out, I made sure I cleaned underneath of it with alcohol. You want to make sure if there's any electrolyte that leaked out of these capacitors. I didn't really see it, but it's corrosive. Can be corrosive, and especially the glue on these big capacitors. You gotta clean that off. It becomes very hard and corrosive and conductive. I had to clean a lot of black off this board. This board was very, very heat damaged. You see it in the traces in the bottom. Toshiba, or I should say Technics, I don't understand why they run the drivers so hot, but they do. But yeah, kind of a look back through it. And once again, this thing's here sitting here. And that's the current it's pulling. 37.6 watts, 120 volts. Bias is set. Bias is set by these two variables. It's variable resistor here for that one, and this one for this side. Right channel, left channel. Test points are on this side, and then the center point, you want 12 millivolts across each channel. I actually let this thing sit in idle for about an hour, tweaking the the DC current, the idle current going to the transistors. I wanted everything to be up at temperature and equalized in equilibrium with all the heat on it. So it sat here for about an hour, and I just kept backing a little bit here, a little bit there, until everything just was finally happy. And then when it sits in idles, that's what you should expect. 37, 31, no problem. And that's with the radio on right now, even powering the tuner. So the tuner is powered up. See, its stereo's on. Full signal. Very good. Thing sounds absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. The case on this thing, this gentleman's going to be very happy with this receiver. I cleaned all the dust off everywhere. All the bottom plate got cleaned. You have to mind the light, it sucks. But all that got cleaned. Heatsink got cleaned. Transformer all got cleaned. Power wires, all the dirt off all the wires, all got cleaned. Rerouted some new tie straps, like I said, just to clean it up a bit. But it looks good. All the caps are in nice and straight. I don't like crooked caps. Bent resistors, capacitors all over. Looks like shit. But looking good now, sounding good now. Should be very reliable. Personally, if this was my own amplifier, I would have taken the two drivers, and I would have taken them, and I would have made boards and leads, and I would have moved them up on the heatsink. But that was personally me, and I don't want to do that. This is not my unit, so I just want to make this last for this guy and be a very beautiful unit. And these Technics by Panasonic were always very good units. That's the one I did for him. And then there's one, also this one here is another one I did. That's my wife. That's hers. She fell in love with that after I did that one. All brand new outputs, caps, everything in that one too. All brand new transistors converted. And then there's my other baby over there. So yeah. But it's good. And I'll give you an update later on. Catch you later.